Hi, my name's Claire Lydon. I'm a lesbian romance fiction author, and I'm speaking to you today because I have just launched my new novel, Nothing to Lose, a Lesbian Romance. It's out today. I'm really excited about it, and I hope you will read it and enjoy it. As I say, I'm really excited about it because it's a story of a woman called Scarlett Williams who's a bit down on her luck, and she is flooded and given half an hour to get out of her flat. So, that's quite a thing. If that happened to you, what would you choose? And it's a story of her struggle to overcome a lot of things in her life. But obviously, she manages it, and she might find a little romance along the way because it is a lesbian romance, and it's what the genre calls for. But it was a very emotional story to write. It was a very personal story. Even though I haven't been flooded, all the struggles that Scarlett has throughout her time in the book are very human struggles, so I think it should speak to a lot of people. And it was actually based I read about, when I was reading about the floods that happened in the north of England last Christmas, and I thought, I'd quite fancy doing a lesbian romance around that, so I did. So I hope you enjoy it. Nothing to Lose, a lesbian romance. It is available now on Amazon, iTunes, Barnes Noble, Kobo, and all those other groovy digital outlets. I'm going to read you a little bit from the first chapter now, so I hope you enjoy it. This is Nothing to Lose, a lesbian romance. So in this excerpt, I should also say, she's just been woken up and told she's got half an hour to get out of her flat before it's flooded. So here she is, deciding what to take. Scarlett grabbed a rucksack from her wardrobe and began putting her essentials in it. Wallet, passport, phone, laptop, tablet. She walked through to the living room and stared at her shelves full of books and CDs, the story of her life. She couldn't take them. The first stab of regret hit her, almost taking her breath away. In her older life, in happier times, this had been one of those questions her mates would ask after a few pints down the pub. Scarlett, Liv, Nancy and Sarah, 3 pints in down the Golden Lion. It had been their Sunday routine for well over a year. Lunch, a few pints, and slurred, slanted chats about their future together. Your house is about to burn down, and you've got minutes to get out. What would you take? Liv had always gone for their dog, Alfie, jewellery, and her photos. Nancy had always said her record collection. She'd been a vinyl nut. Sarah never knew what she'd take, so they'd always assumed that Sarah would be burnt alive trying to make a decision. Scarlett had always been the one who'd said she'd just walk out and leave, not giving a thought to any of her possessions. It's only stuff, she'd said. It's replaceable. By the time you collected all your records, you're dead from smoke inhalation. But now, standing in her lounge on a peaceful January morning, she wasn't so sure. She didn't want to lose her books and her CDs, or her photos. She might not like her life, but did she really want it all just washed away, just like that? Urgency overtook her now. She flung open her largest suitcase and began stuffing it full of things. Clothes, shoes, photos, toiletries. She ran from bedroom to bathroom to lounge like someone on a game show, trying to fill their case as quick as they can. If anybody was watching, they might have thought she was late for a plane and packing everything but the kitchen sink. It was exactly what she wanted to do, only she couldn't. Scarlett ran to the kitchen. Where was her mum's favourite Silver Jubilee mug? She couldn't leave without that. It was one of the only things she had left. She opened the cupboard above the kettle, moving mugs aside. Her gaze raked the shelf. She couldn't see it. She wrenched open the dishwasher and spotted it, still stained from tea from the previous day. She didn't have time to wash it up. She ran through to the bedroom and wrapped the mug in a jumper. Then Scarlett checked her watch. How long did she have? She bargained around 10 minutes. Her case was nearly full, but in contrast, her mind was blank. Real life didn't work like the pub game. Real life had decisions and consequences. She'd give anything to be back in the pub in happier times. When she brushed her teeth, tears pricked the back of her eyes. She was proud of her flat, kept it spick and span. It was the one thing that was hers now after everything. after the split with Liv, after the ripping apart of their carefully woven lives and her delicate heart. Scarlett took a deep breath, sucking it right into her lungs, one of the last she'd ever taken in this flat. There were the tears again, threatening to bubble up and out of her. Yes, she was leaving her haven, but she wasn't going to cry. She didn't have time. She dressed quickly in jeans, t-shirt and her favourite sweatshirt, then added her trainers and coat. She couldn't bring all her coats. She couldn't bring her mum's fake fur. The tears sprung up again. Fuck it. Scarlett unzipped her case and crammed the fur in, sitting back on top of it to make sure it closed. It did. She was pretty sure a fur coat wasn't going to be needed in a flood, but it was the only one of her parents' things that she'd taken after they'd died. She had the mug too. That would have to do. Then her eyes fell on a guitar. Should she leave it behind? Scarlett stood over it, gazing at the life it used to represent. A better, more in tune life. She ran her finger through the thin layer of dust coating its surface. She couldn't leave it, even though she hadn't picked it up in over a year. Scarlett got on the chair, grabbed its case from the top of the wardrobe, and laid the guitar down carefully, snapping the case shut. Maybe the flood wouldn't be as bad as they said. Then again, basement flats and water were the best of friends. She should anticipate the worst. She knew that. A banging on the door interrupted her thoughts. Scarlett wasn't startled this time. She ran from room to room, checking if she'd left anything important. It didn't feel any different from all those other times when she'd done the same thing when she was going away for a few days. Checking she switched off the lights, the oven, the iron. It didn't feel any different at all. But it was. Who knew when she'd come back? She had no idea at all. Her feet were suddenly dead weights, not wanting to move. Her television stood quietly, as it always did, no idea what was about to happen. Her print on the wall, a shot of the surrounding hills, a shot she was so proud of and had had blown up. She could get it done again. She checked her bedroom. She tried to make it a sanctuary, but it hadn't quite worked. She'd just never been in the right frame of mind. Her bathroom with its double shower and mosaic tiles. She'd modelled it on one she remembered from a visit to Milan back in the day. She exhaled. Maybe it would survive. Maybe. There was more banging and shouting. Scarlett grabbed her suitcase, backpack and guitar and thudded slowly up her staircase, every step sealing her flat's doom. At the front door she turned and cast a glance backwards. Her eggshell blue hallway, her old-fashioned wooden hat stand, her metal light fitting she'd looked everything for. She didn't want to leave, but she had to. When she opened the door, the police officer was there again, looking anxiously over his shoulder, then back to Scarlett. "You ready?" he asked. She wasn't, but she had to be.